r/AskReddit, what dark secret are you hiding from everyone? When my grandpa was on his deathbed, he admitted to killing fellow Marines in the Vietnam War for torturing and raping young girls. Most of our family doesn't know. Edit. Wow, didn't expect this to blow up, lol. Thank you for all the awards. My grandpa was a pretty cool guy, very calm and mellow, so my mom and I were shocked when he admitted this to us. He was a gunsmith his whole life and was very proud of being a Marine, but the guilt he carried from the war made him believe he was being punished in the end. He died a really painful and traumatic death that I would never wish on anybody. I hope it lets him rest easier in peace. That the majority of you commend what he did, I certainly never held any qualms about it. Most people in my family think that my mother recently died suddenly from complications due to cancer, but she really died from the toxic effects of oxycodone, morphine, fentanyl, and methamphetamine. Seems as though she just had herself a secret death party. After my parents got divorced, my stepdad basically moved right in and started sexually abusing me. I knew it was wrong deep down somewhere, but figured since he was an adult, he knew what he was doing and to trust him. One night my sister caught him red-handed and flipped out and told my mom. Cops came and he got arrested. I was only like 9 to 10 years old, so a lot of it is a blur. At first my mom had me sleeping in bed with her at night and was babying me, and I loved it. One day, months later, we were walking home from school and we saw me dad's van sitting outside of our house. We weren't allowed in and we saw garbage bags sitting outside. My dad told us that my mom had called him earlier in the week and told him that if he didn't come and get us, she'd get rid of us. She wouldn't come out and talk to us, and I cried. My dad lived in another state, so this meant we'd have to leave our friends and our hometown. Our friends ran after the van as we drove away. For a few years she wouldn't talk to us. She had allowed my stepdad to come back, and that's why she stayed away. Guess she didn't want to face us after what she'd done. She'd chosen a man who'd abused her child over her own children. Eventually we had a relationship with her again, but she was so sick. The funny thing is that she's in a really high up position for one of the largest banks in America. Professionally, people think she's amazing. She's a monster. I finally had the courage to cut her out when I went into recovery from heroin addiction 11 years ago, and haven't spoken to her since. A few people know this story, but not many, and it felt good to get it out to the world. My life has flourished since cutting her off. People always say how I need my mom. LOL. Don't be scared to boot family out of your life, just see their family. Thanks for allowing me to share this, Reddit. Edit. First and foremost, thank you all so much for all of the love and support, the awards, and messages. I figured this would get buried in the post, and then I heard my phone going mad. LOL. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Some clarifications: the trash bags were the clothes my mother had gotten together for us. My brother and I each had one bag full of clothes and none of our other belongings. My father was poor. We barely had running water and lived in a little log cabin in rural NEPA, US. He struggled with alcoholism for years and had anger, resentments, and shame for not killing my stepfather. Also for not saving us sooner. The women he was with left him when he gained custody of us, and he almost died from that. He got pneumonia and we had to help him through it. I was picked on for a few years at first because we were clearly very poor and kids are dicks. I eventually started fighting back, and then I started to get into a lot of fights. It was a way to have control, and in my traumatized, adolescent mind, if people were afraid of me, then I'd never get hurt again. My addiction was a result of having no coping skills and not wanting to feel the disgust I had for myself and shame. I wound up in jail in 2011, and that started my recovery journey. I had no contact with my dad for almost 10 years, and then I made amends with him in 2018, and he was sober and we became closer in that time than we'd ever been. I cherish that time with him. He sadly died very unexpectedly after hitting his head in January 2021. Sometimes I spent whole meetings wondering how they got the big meeting table through the door. Pest control technician here. You're paying too much for pest control. Whoever you hired, unless it's a fairly small company, they are ripping you off. Unless you have cockroaches or bed bugs, you too bit. Times are hard enough right now. Edit. Thanks for the awards, guys. I'm getting a lot of pest control questions in my inbox. I doubt I'll have time to answer all of them, but r/pest control is a great subreddit that will help you identify pests and offer solutions. Not a huge secret in comparison to some of these answers, but I feel the guilt of it often. After my fiancée passed, I napped all the time for over a year. My aunt was calling me one day and I just denied her call, went back to napping. It was my aunt calling because my grandma, who was very sick with cancer, wanted to say happy birthday a day before my birthday. Grandma died the next day. I should have picked up the damn phone. My uncle owned an old Camaro that collected dust in his garage. When I was around 10, my family and I were in town visiting and I wrote the word fuck in the dust on the hood of the car. I used my thumb so that the letters were fatter than my normal index finger. A few hours later my aunt/uncle asked us who did it and I proved it wasn't me by showing how the person who did it had bigger fingers than me. Taking that shit to my grave. Edit. This blew up. I'm 33 now and the entire family definitely knows it was me. It's an inside joke now where someone tries to get me to admit to it and I never will. One of my closest co-workers, who is an integral part to our very large corporation, killed a man in his late teens and threw the body in a lake. He only got off on a technicality. I work remotely so I don't build a lot of personal relationships with people I work with regularly. I googled his full name. It freaked me out at first. But I've kinda gotten over it. I wonder if anyone else knows. It happened 40 plus years ago. He will retire soon and then I might ask another coworker about it. I just don't want to stir the pot. My girlfriend started selling used pants and stuff online. Someone wanted used insoles from her shoes. I walk for about 6 hours at a time at work and often just put her insoles in my shoes. Those perverts are getting off to the smell of my sweaty feet thinking it's a girl. My suicidal depression isn't gone, I've just accepted that I have to wait to die of natural causes because killing myself would scar my family and most people who know me for life. Edit. I appreciate all the support, and I'm glad for those that find comfort in not being alone in feeling this way. FAQ. No, this isn't passive suicidal ideation as I've attempted twice before and still have active thoughts sometimes. Yes, I am in therapy and have tried medication, exercise, etc. No, I don't want to try microdosing psychoactive substances as I have psychotic depression, meaning I'm prone to hallucinations and such if pressed. My grandpa was stationed in Okinawa, Japan during the Korean War, while in the Marines. He hooked up with a woman there, and she got pregnant. So, I have a Japanese aunt and a few cousins, in Japan, whom I've never met before. My brother and I did a 23andMe. We discovered we have a half-sibling, same father, who is older than us. I messaged them but no reply. Since the half-sibling is older, it was during my father's military career, which was short-lived because he got a dishonorable discharge that he hides from his family still. I'm living with my mom right now cause she's going there cancer, but to be honest, I can't wait to see her go. It sounds horrible but I'd rather see her go than see her suffer even more. It's not like I would get anything out of her will, it's more like it sucks cause she's always in pain and seeing her like that brings me pain. Edit. Thank you everyone for your responses, I've felt so alone on this for a long time. She's still fighting a long battle but it's just getting worse every day. I appreciate the help that everyone has offered. It really helps a lot. Thank you. I don't know why, but I always keep thinking that one day I will cut all contact with everyone in my life, disappear from their lives and just keep for myself. I don't know why I think like this. I have some good friends. I've been accessory to both my parents' infidelity. At age 5 my mother cheated on my dad while he was deployed, and my brother told me what was happening and that I shouldn't tell anyone. My father slept with his secretary 2 years later, for a few years, and would even bring me on dates with her, telling my mother we were going to the movies. He took me to her house and had her roommate watch me while they went out or just hung out in her room. They're still married. I don't know if either know the other did the thing or if they still are doing the thing. Edit. To everyone saying maybe they're in an open or poly relationship, sure maybe they are, but I doubt it considering their views on most everything. Also, if they were in one, then they should have explained it to us instead of sneaking around and telling us not to tell the other parent, and maybe don't bring your kid on your house dates. So yeah, maybe they were, but if they were, then their behavior goes from shitty for involving their kids in their infidelity to shitty that they involved their kids in a lifestyle without explaining it to them and making their kids think that they were cheating on each other. When I was around 9 years old, I used my mom's credit card to sign up my shitty alcoholic stepfather for a porn website in hopes of starting a fight and her leaving him. FYI, she did leave after another year or so. Current stepdad is a real keeper. Edited to correct a spelling mistake. My wife and I aren't officially married. No one knows. We had a ceremony and everything, reception. The whole 9 yards. We just never did the official paperwork. We realized that since she's going back to school, it benefits her financially to go through financial aid as single rather than married. When she finishes up, we're going to head over to town hall and finish the last step. My adopted sister knows her birth mother died in a freak accident. She doesn't know the cause of death was beheading. I worked with a guy that was a first responder to the accident. I owe the bank $100K. My cousin raped me when I was a kid, and to this day I haven't told anyone about it. It's been probably around 25 years ago or so, which makes me feel like it's not worth addressing after so much time. I absolutely hated it when his mom asked me why I didn't invite him to my wedding. I still don't know how I should have responded to keep that a secret. Ever since my daughter took her own life, I have been hiding how much pain I'm really in. My family is beyond dysfunctional, so it would create more crap for me to deal with. Although, I did tell my mom to gargle donkey balls yesterday, and that made me feel slightly better. I never have other plans that I just can't cancel. I think I'm beginning to lose my mind. Lately I've been having trouble remembering things that I've known for years. Sometimes when people talk to me, their words just don't make sense to me when everyone else seems to get it. I've become super paranoid. I'm having an extremely hard time concentrating, and I've been finding it more and more difficult to talk to people. I'm kind of scared. Edit. I'm only 26, never had COVID. I had an IBS attack once and had to violently shit in a church grounds behind someone's car. Used underwear to wipe to and left that there. Not proud. I've been an addict my entire adult life. I used to drink all day every day. Before work, at work, and after work. I'd occasionally fall asleep on my lunch break or leaving work and have to make up some illness to friends and fam who were concerned. Today marks 185 days sober. Edit. Holy smokes. You guys made my day. I had no idea this would get so much traction. Thank you all so much for all of the kind words, truly. And if you're reading this and currently struggling, don't give up. Better days are ahead. I would be perfectly okay with never talking to any of my immediate family again. When I was 10, I was the victim of serial child molester. A teacher, a woman, and no one believed me. This is an important detail as to why I did what I would later do. Several years ago, I saw her while I was shopping. First, I was afraid. Then I realized, I was not 10 anymore. I was a 25-year-old, Adult male. I became angry. I stalked her for weeks, saw her working as a teacher, still, found her on social media, catfished my way into the cougar dating FB group she was in. Learned she had victimized more kids since she had lost me as her pet. She called her victims her teacher pets. After I was sure of everything, and had gathered my information, I plastered her neighborhood with her private FB group posts about how much she loves the feeling of power as she pins the little cubs to the desk in her office. The flyers had her face, her address, her phone number, and a bunch of other stuff. This isn't a dark secret, really, because if I get caught, so what? I outed a loud and proud cub hunter. Edit, as I can't reply to all individually, I'm going to put this here. 1. Yes, I did report her and the FB group. The group no longer exists, and hasn't since I did this. 2. I am now in my 30s, and this revenge was 7 years ago. 3. She moved not long after I did this, but I can't say that my actions are the reason. 4. I have not continued to follow her, as my mental health takes priority, and the actions I took back then, for my revenge, actually caused a bit of relapse on my depression. 5. I reported her when I was 10, and again when I found her living in the same town when I was 25, the group chat logs, the Facebook's posts, and all information was turned over to the local police via throwaway email. To my knowledge, nothing was ever done on the matter. 6. I didn't kill her, or cause her physical harm, because I have a life, and while it isn't all that great, it's a lot better than prison. Thanks for watching. Leave a like if you have enjoyed this video and subscribe to never miss an upload.